ambidextrous organisations can exploit and explore their capability in parallel. Ambidextrous organisations are able to excel at current business models and to create new ones at the same time. Adaptiveness requires organisations to have two capabilities, what Michael Porter casually referred to as being schizophrenic: the ability to exploit existing resources and capabilities and to explore new spaces by reconfiguring existing resources and developing new capabilities. This balancing act between exploiting the present and exploring the future is what we call organisational ambidexterity, the ability of senior leaders simultaneously to manage the existing core businesses, maintaining stability, ensuring that products and services are reliable and consistent in quality, and overseeing incremental improvement, and to pursue new opportunities, specifically nurturing experimentation and discontinuous change through the innovation streams. Exploiting, pursuing efficient production, not only boosts profitability, but it also frees resources for picking up at slide 3. Exploiting, pursuing efficient production, not only boosts profitability, but it also frees up resources for exploring. Exploring is focused on developing new opportunities for growth. The model suggests that the explore function typically is less time-consuming and requires less concentrated focus. The mindset of the explore function is different to that of the exploit. Our design thinking models and techniques sit very comfortably in this space. Ambidexterity is thus critical to sustaining competitive advantage and to the organisation's enduring success. Now, exploration does not necessarily require intense time dedication, nor does it require significant evolution. That takes place in the exploit phase. That is, successful new ventures become part of business as usual and should then be subjected to the exploit mindset. Notice, however, the selection and retention function. These are essential and explicit. Move the right things from explore to exploit. Another way to look at this is that the firm should be focused on doing what it does, the blue, in a more cost-effective, focused, and getting better every day manner. At the same time, it should be nurturing its next self, the green. These new strategies can become part of the organisation's overall venture, or indeed the green can become the new blue. That is, the firm reinvents itself and the new venture becomes the core business. The paradox, according to Michael Tushman and Charles O'Reilly, is that successful organisations eventually fail because they become so powerful at the exploit part of the model, they fail to focus on exploration. They become the dominant force in the market in terms of market share, etc. And then the competitive landscape shifts. New technologies surface, and it is competitors who do the exploration. So we want to do green before our competitors do. You see, we've introduced another variable here, clarity. Here we are focusing on how certain are we about the outcomes and how are we devoting our resources. This is one of the most challenging aspects of leading, where to focus our attention, business as usual or the future. And the simple answer is both, but how and doing exactly what? Tushman and O'Reilly say, and I quote, "Short-run effectiveness can sow the seeds of organisational failure by hindering long-term adaptability. While flexibility, speed, innovation and responsiveness are crucial as product classes evolve, so too are characteristics such as consistency, reliability and efficiency. Too much of the former, and organisations may fail to capture the value of their early innovations. Too much of the latter, and firms may develop toxic levels of resistance and inertia." And they continue, ambidextrous organisations have two profoundly different types of businesses. Those focused on exploiting existing capabilities for profit, and those focused on exploring new opportunities for growth. The two require very different strategies, structures, processes, and cultures. Cushman and O'Reilly have also developed a diagnostic around explore-exploit thinking. An opportunity gap exists when an organisation is not completely leveraging its distinctive capabilities and competencies. A performance gap, on the other hand, exists when an organisation is not meeting its existing targets. A gap is a misalignment of outputs and objectives. A performance gap is something that is occurring now. An opportunity gap may happen in the future. In fact, Cushman and O'Reilly infer that an opportunity gap may be underway right now and will almost certainly happen in the future. The process begins with an insight. Is this a performance gap or an opportunity gap? We want this to be clearly defined and quantifiable. What exactly are the components of the gap? Next, we prioritize the key elements of the gap: cost, lack of resources, strategic impact, unused capabilities, etc. And finally, we determine who the business owner is and who should be the business owner. Once we've been clear about our gap, performance or opportunity, we want to explore and find the drivers of the gap. Where appropriate, we start with the exec team. What is the behaviour of the team? How does it use information? What are the symbolic actions that show how and what things get done? Next, the organisation strategy and vision. Are we clear about what business we're in? Are we clear about how to deliver? Does it make sense? Do we really understand where we are in the competitive landscape? How are we competing? What is our vision? And then we start on the mantra of the diagnostic. Are the organisation's leadership team, executive team, and the organisation strategy and vision aligned? The belief is that success comes from alignment. Next, we move to what we call the organisation's hard systems, the vertical piece of the diamond. Key success factors and the formal structure. What needs to get done, and how do we monitor, reward, guide, control? And again, our question, are the key success factors and the organisation and structure aligned? Now we move on to what we call the organisation's soft systems, the horizontal part of the diamond. Do we have the right people? Are they motivated and doing the right things? What's the culture of the organisation? How do we behave? What are our values and beliefs? And again, are the people and culture aligned? And finally, we look for overall alignment and congruence. Think through each of the pieces and look for alignment and misalignment. How do these map onto or correlate with our gap? The terrific insight from this tool is that it tells us what we need to do to overcome the gap. Here are the action steps. The outcome of the process looks like this: problem identification, a short 2 or 3 sentence description of the problem, be it a performance or an opportunity gap. Next, a root cause analysis, which is the diagnostic we've shown you. I call it the diamond tool. A congruence analysis of all the likely causes of the problem. Solution identification, a ranking of the actions needed to address the root causes and solve the problem. And finally, implementation, action planning, a plan describing how to implement the actions identified in phase 3. And here we have our overall ambidextrous organisational pathway: where to focus, on what to focus, and how to create alignment.